Hello again. Before saying anything specifically about Scotland, it might be an idea just to examine what we mean by the term Islamism. That the new Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf, is an Islamist is pretty certain. But the problem is there are certain negative connotations in the word. Islam is a religion, like Christianity and Buddhism. Some people think that in addition to being a religion, Islam should also form the foundation of civil society in a country as well. That is to say that the judicial system, the civil service, businesses, army and police should all operate on strict Muslim principles. It used to be a bit like that in Britain with Christianity, of course, and we still have a relic of such a system in the Sunday Trading Acts. The reason that supermarkets don't stay open as long on Sundays is because our legal system and whole society was once explicitly Christian. We still have the situation where the head of state and also the head of the army is also the head of the Christian church in Britain. This is what Islamists want. They want Islam and political system and civil society all to be perfectly aligned. Calling someone an Islamist is not another way of saying extremist or terrorist, although some Islamists certainly are terrorists, but then too so are some Christians and Muslims. 13 years ago, there was in some quarters uneasiness about an organisation called the Scottish Islamic Foundation. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item from the Scotsman newspaper about this outfit. It was set up by a man called Osama Saeed, who stood as an SNP candidate in the 2010 general election. Osama Saeed was a former aide of Alex Salmond, who of course was leader of the Scots nationalists before Nicola Sturgeon. Saeed has also called for the establishment of a new caliphate, which would unite Muslims across the whole world. He's certainly an Islamist. Who is Osama Saeed? Why, he is Humza Yousaf's cousin. Although it folded up in 2013, the Scottish Islamic Foundation is still listed at Companies House. I give a link in the description to this video. Click on it and then click on the tab marked People and you will see that Humza Yousaf was a director. Before he became an MP, Yousaf was instrumental in introducing various rather dodgy Islamists to members of the Scottish Parliament. The thumbnail to this video gives the names of those who met at the Scottish Parliament on January the 17th, 2008. We see that Humza Yousaf was there, as was his cousin, Osama Saeed. Then too, the Minister for Europe, External Affairs and Culture was also present, as were officials from the Scottish Government. Just look at the three men whom Humza Yousaf and his cousin had introduced. Mohammed Sawalha, Anas al-Takriti and Ismaili Patel. Sawalha was a Hamas commander, and the other two men are also fervent Islamists. Once he had his feet under the table in the Scottish cabinet, Humza Yousaf was very cosy with groups like Islamic Relief, which also has links with Hamas, and is ferociously anti-Semitic into the bargain. Before he was elected to the Scottish Parliament, Yousaf was a media spokesman for Islamic Relief. All this puts me in mind very much of the entryism which we saw in the 1980s when Trotskyites infiltrated the Labour Party in the hope that eventually they would be able to put one of their nominees in power as Prime Minister. So he would nominally be a member of the Labour Party, but actually he would be a Trotskyite plant. I knew ahead of time, and said so here, that Humza Yousaf would be appointed head of the SNP and become First Minister. The whole business of Nicola Sturgeon's resignation, the denunciation of Kate Forbes for her Christianity, and various other things seemed to have proceeded so smoothly that it almost looks as though it were all planned and orchestrated. I've never seen such a neat piece of work, which has left part of the United Kingdom under the charge of an Islamist whose first act on being appointed was to hold Muslim prayers in the official residence of the First Minister. This is a man, too, who seemed to have a problem with white people. At least he gave a speech in which he appeared angry that there were so many white people in Scotland and that they seemed to have all the best jobs. I've got an idea that things are beginning to fall apart, though, now, and my suspicion is that one way and another, Humza Yousaf might be on the way out after a period in office almost as short as that of Liz Truss.